You're never more than a few minutes from a weather update here on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome to Extension Connection on Super Talk 1270. Thoughtful information and discussion with experts from both Burleigh and Morton County Extension Service offices. Extension Connection provides advice on family nutrition, issues in agriculture, lawn and garden, community leadership, flood recovery, homeowner concerns, and so much more. Live from the Super Talk 1270 News Studio, this is Extension Connection.
Good morning and welcome to the Extension Connection. I'm Peggy Netzer, Family Nutrition Program Agent with the Burleigh County Extension Office. And we are short on staff. And so the next few times we're here, we're going to have guests. Because in case people don't know, Chandra, our FCS agent, had a baby. So she's out of the office. And yeah, we're all excited. Baby's like crazy in our office the last couple of months. And Amelia has some trainings and stuff to keep her busy, so she's not here either. So just me, and you may have heard the woo-hoo from our friend Karen Ahrens, who is a dietitian here in Bismarck, and among other things, a friend of Extension. So thank you for coming, Karen.
Thank you, Peggy. I'm happy to be here today and being glad to advocate and support healthy communities and healthy people in them.
Yeah. So what we're talking about today is it's that time of year where we will all, mostly all, be having family gatherings, friend gatherings, all sorts of gatherings for the holidays. And so we want to talk a little bit about how great those things are. There are a lot of benefits of family meal times, and we know that, not just for kids, but also for us as adults. It's good for our spirits to spend time with our family and friends. But on average, over this time period, between basically now and the new year, how many pounds do people usually gain, right? Most people gain a few pounds here or there, right?
I would agree.
So we want to talk about ways to keep those gatherings healthier and ways that people might not be thinking about health. When I say that, most people think of what they're eating and exercise. We have a couple of other ways too. So, family meal times, what are the benefits? Do you guys have family meals, Karen?
We do. We have them every day when possible. Mm-hmm. There was a few years back, this great report that showed that kids who eat meals with their families are less likely to drink to excess, do drugs, commit suicide. They're more likely to have better grades, more likely to succeed in life. It's like, wow.
Yeah. And you have a teenager, so those things are front and center right now.
That's right.
Yeah. My kids don't make their own decisions yet. So we also have dinner as a family every night when possible. We kind of extend it a little. So at least once a week, usually twice a week, we have dinner with my husband's parents and his grandmother. So we have not just family meals in our own little family, but we have family meals outside of that too with extended family. So yeah, lots of positive things. So when we have all these gatherings that we're about to be having, we want to think about how can I go into this with a plan. I think planning ahead is a key for this time of year with everything, with your budget, with your calorie budget, if you want to call it that, your energy budget. So a plan. People should have a plan. So you have some tips for ways they can think about making their meals maybe healthier?
My best and favorite tip is to make sure that you have fruits and vegetables at every meal. And there are so many ways that you can do that. You can use frozen vegetables and fruits. They are so easy to heat up and fast. The other thing is, again, that goes back to the planning. So often in our hectic lives, we don't have that plan. But if you can take a time on a weekend to kind of fill up your pantry with healthy things, and then when it comes time for crunch time on the weekdays, and one person has to be here and the other there and the other that place, then you calmly reach into your freezer or reach into your fridge or reach into your pantry and say, okay, we got our vegetable, we got our main dish, we've got a fruit for dessert, and we're set.
Yeah, and we try really hard at our house to stick to our menu. So we, every weekend, or sometimes every other, I try to do 2 weeks at a time of menu planning. So we know what's for dinner. We try really hard to stick to that. But, for example, there are days when you can't. So today, I had on something that was supposed to be in the slow cooker and completely forgot it in the freezer. So we have a backup plan for dinner tonight. I'm not sure what that's going to be, but we plan leftovers certain nights of the week, that kind of thing. So planning really is important. And to have things in your freezer and your pantry that you can just go to, like frozen vegetables, when you are sort of needing plan B like we do tonight, is really, really important. So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, you are so organized. I love it because I have some friends who are just like that, so organized, and they know what's going to be for supper on a week from today. And I have other friends, and most of the time
they don't know what they're having for lunch.
Yeah. What are we having? So I think, there's a lot of flexibility in how we plan, but having that backup plan and having healthy stuff in your house so you don't have to make an extra trip to the store can really help.
Definitely. We are going to take a quick break and we'll come back and talk about maybe what are some of those healthy options for side dishes.
Right now, 16.
Your news leader, weeknights at 6 and 10. Super Talk 1270.
Good morning and welcome back to the Extension Connection. I'm Peggy Netzer, Family Nutrition Program Agent with the Burleigh County Extension Office, here with our friend Karen Ahrens. We are talking today about holiday gatherings. And the next one coming up is Thanksgiving. And I was just reminded by our good friend Jim here that I am wearing my Thanksgiving shirt. So I have a specific shirt. It's just a plain t-shirt, but it says Give Thanks on it. And I have worn this every Thanksgiving for many, many years. And back home, before I moved to Bismarck, I volunteered every Thanksgiving and served a meal at the local Salvation Army. And I wore this shirt. So the shirt is kind of worn. It's not a great looking shirt anymore, but it got me in the Thanksgiving mood for today's radio show because we wanted to make sure we were talking about Thanksgiving and other holiday gatherings and how to make those healthier. And, Karen and I talked about off the air about health, not just as nutrition and physical activity, but health as far as your emotional health, your mental health, those kinds of things. And so this shirt makes me think of the mental health and how those sort of gatherings really help people's spirits.
I agree, Peggy. It's sometimes when we have the time off from work and from family, from work, from school, with family, sometimes, if we just take a moment to reflect on what we're thankful for in living here where we do, I think most of us have a lot, but also to think of others who don't and ways that we can help them.
Right.
And actually giving to others is a way to boost your mental health.
It totally is. It makes you feel good about yourself and about life in general, I think. If you're feeling down, you can, give a little time to help somebody else improve their situation. It definitely puts things into perspective.
Yep. Another thing we were talking about when we were talking about stress around the holidays is I know some families who just really go all out to, show that they're thankful by spreading a Thanksgiving table or a holiday table with
Everything you can think of.
a groaning amount of food. And I've noticed that getting that ready for some people is joyful, but when you're trying to do too much, becomes really stressful.
Yes.
So one thing that I try to remind people to de-stress is, how many side dishes do we really need here? Of course, we don't want to run out of food, and of course, we want to make special things, but maybe we could cut back a little bit.
Right. Yeah, scale it down. And give yourself a little less time in the kitchen and a little more time actually enjoying your guests. I like that.
Yeah.
So before we went on break, we talked about healthy sides. And I actually found this really great list at superhealthykids.com. 10 healthy veggie sides to serve with dinner. So this could be with dinner tonight, or it could be with a holiday meal. Some of these are sort of a little more special that you would feel okay serving them with a celebratory meal. So the first one is honey cinnamon roasted sweet potatoes.
Nom.
So, yeah, doesn't that sound delicious?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people do those, what do they call it? Candy yams?
Canned yams and candied yams.
Candy yams, where they put the marshmallows and brown sugar and everything. This is a good alternative to that, because instead of using brown sugar and marshmallows, you're using things that are more I can't even speak. More flavorful, and so you don't have to add as much sugar. So honey is really delicious. It adds the sweetness that you're looking for without all the other stuff. Honey is a natural source of sweetness, and so we maybe would want to have more of that and less of the other sugars. And cinnamon, a little bit of cinnamon can add a lot of flavor and be really, really great. So honey and cinnamon together, good combination.
Yeah, just a word about the yams. Some people like them, others don't, until we started using real sweet potatoes in place of the ones in the can at holidays. My husband didn't really care for that dish. But when we started using
I'm with him on that.
the ones that you buy in the produce section of the grocery store, some people will get into arguments about what's a sweet potato, what's a yam, but if it's it doesn't matter. That orange tuberous vegetable that you can...
It's by the potatoes and onions.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's easy to bake up just like a potato. Just wash it, scrub it, cut it up, and make this delicious side dish.
Yeah, if you want it to be a sweet thing, go with honey and cinnamon instead. Cinnamon has no calories, no sugar, nothing but flavor. So it's a good thing to add. The next one on the list is super simple spaghetti squash. Do you like spaghetti squash?
I am mixed on spaghetti squash, but it's really fun. And a lot of people are eating more of that to get more vegetables in. So it can be really fun, especially for kids. It's like, wee, wiggly.
Yeah, at Ruby Tuesdays, they have spaghetti squash as an option. And I usually get it because my son really, really likes it. He likes all squash, but I think the spaghetti squash, because it looks like noodles, maybe he likes that a little more.
Yep, and that's a great thing to remember because, also during the holidays, sometimes we might be eating out more than usual, too, because just for the various situations when we're out of town. So to find a restaurant or encourage the restaurant you're going to not offer French fries as the default thing with a kid's meal, but having those kind of things available, ask for them.
Yes. Next one on the list is crunchy homemade onion rings. So onion rings, when we think about that, we typically think of battered and deep fried. Anything that's battered and deep fried is usually not something we would encourage because it adds a lot of extra stuff that we don't need in our diet. But this one will be baked instead. So it's breaded with breadcrumbs rather than the batter and baked. So if you use a whole grain bread to make your crumbs, super healthy. Onion rings as an alternative. carrots. So, do you guys eat a lot of carrots at your house?
We do eat a lot of carrots. We love carrots because they grow well around here, and even better than that, they store well.
They last forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're one of the things you can eat throughout the winter if you grew them yourself in your garden or you got them at the farmer's market. So we like carrots.
We have a lot of carrots at our house right now because I bought them at the farmer's market, knowing that they would last for a while. And they're popular. My husband, not a big carrot fan, but the other 2/3 of our family loves the carrots. So carrots are an easy thing. You can steam them. You can roast them. You can use basically any sort of herb with carrots, and it tastes good. You can go more sweet. You can go more savory. That's what I like about carrots. They're pretty versatile.
Yeah, speaking of roasting, my husband Dwayne and I find that when you have someone who professes to be a vegetable hater, the gateway food to get people to like vegetables is by roasting them. So whether it's carrots, potatoes, squash, beets, parsnips, all those root vegetables, they taste great when they're roasted. So look, just Google for a roasted vegetable recipe to put that on your Thanksgiving menu.
We have a great recipe at Extension that we use a lot for demonstrations for roasted root vegetables. It's basically a little olive oil, Italian seasoning, and a tiny bit of Parmesan cheese.
Yep.
So delicious.
Right.
And everyone loves it.
Yep. You can even take any kind of cheese you like that melts well. And when those vegetables come out of the oven, you can sprinkle a little bit on top and stir it up. And the cheese gets melty in small amounts over the vegetables and tastes really good.
Everything's better with cheese, isn't it? So our next one on our list, and then I think we have to take a break, is citrus grilled asparagus. I love asparagus. And one other way that we do asparagus, we do a lot like this grilled, lemon pepper kind of stuff. Or we roast it in our oven, like you just said. Another way that we really like it at our house is wrapped in phyllo. So it's a little different for a side, but it makes a little pocket, and our almost 2-year-old can then just pick it up without a fork and eat it. And so it's an easy way to make it a little more festive than just throwing a plate of asparagus on the table. Ultimate roasted broccoli. Broccoli, we're going to talk about when we come back from our break.
Right now, 16.
Our own radio station. Not Fargo, not the Twin Cities. Proud to be Bismarck and Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
Good morning and welcome back to the Extension Connection. I'm Peggy Netzer here with Karen Ahrens. And we've been talking about sides for our Thanksgiving and other holiday gatherings. And we try to focus on vegetables as sides because most people are not eating enough vegetables.
Like 9 out of 10.
Yeah. Like almost everyone you know is not eating enough vegetables. And so if we can get people easy ways, healthy ways to add those vegetables in, our goal as nutrition education folks is for every meal to have half the plate be filled with fruits and vegetables. And I feel like for my family, we do a pretty good job of that. We're like anybody else where sometimes we just throw in a frozen pizza and call it good. But most meals, we have half our plate filled with fruits and vegetables. And so we might be in the 1 out of 10. Maybe not all of us. 2 of us might be, 2 of our 3 eaters might be in that. So easy ways. We've been talking about some vegetable sides that we can use. And when we left, I said ultimate roasted broccoli. Do you roast broccoli?
I'm just getting into that now.
Yeah. You just said how the gateway to veggies is roasting. It is. And broccoli roasted, I hadn't really thought about roasting broccoli ever. We steam it. We eat a lot of broccoli at our house. But I guess almost 2 years ago, so when our son was a little guy, really little guy, our friends came over and they brought us a meal, and roasted broccoli was included, and it was so good that even my husband, who is not a big veggie fan and really not a big green thing fan, he ate the broccoli. So now we roast a lot of broccoli at our house.
Yeah, I saw this thing online the other day with a recipe for roasted cauliflower too.
Oh.
The whole head roasted and then sliced up just like you would slice into a roast.
Huh.
So I thought I might try that sometime too.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by that. I might have to Google it later. So roasted broccoli, yeah. I'm not a big cauliflower person, but I might like it if it's roasted, since everything's delicious when you roast it. The other thing that makes everything delicious, cheese. We said that already. The next one on our list is cheesy baked zucchini rounds.
Nom.
Yeah, I don't even like zucchini, but I think this looks delicious. It only needs 2 ingredients. Do you want to guess what they are?
Zucchini and cheese.
Yeah. So Parmesan cheese. When you bake Parmesan, if you ever have even made a pizza and the cheese, if you have Parmesan or whatever, has gotten onto the pan, not on the pizza, it gets crispy like a cracker. So that's kind of what the Parmesan does on top of a zucchini little circle thing. So all you have to do is slice the zucchini, throw some Parmesan on top, put it in the oven. It looks pretty delicious. Speaking of cauliflower, creamy cauliflower rice.
Yeah. People are turning to cauliflower more as a side dish.
Yeah.
So this is another way to do it. You probably does this recipe call for putting it through a sieve or a masher, or how are they doing it here?
It's mostly cauliflower and tiny amounts of rice.
Oh, together.
But the cauliflower is, really mushed up. Makes it creamy. So, yeah, creamy cauliflower garlic rice. Oh, the garlic probably adds a little something. And when you do it with the brown rice, you have a little extra nutrition there. So I can see that. So the cauliflower is in the sauce of this one. So it makes sort of an Alfredo sauce with your brown rice. But instead of milk and butter and cheese like we usually think of with Alfredo, it's cauliflower. Interesting.
Good change up there.
Yeah.
Here's one more idea for vegetables. And I know we have some people who love this vegetable I'm going to talk about, and some people that hate it. And it's Brussels sprouts.
Oh, I'm on the love part of it.
And my daughter is on the hate part of it. She calls them little balls of horror.
I had never had a Brussels sprout until, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. Little balls of horror, huh? That's how much she doesn't like them.
Yes, but then there's this recipe roundup on a website called foodconfidence.com. And they have the best Brussels sprouts recipes. And so take a check at that and try those, because again, those little balls are
Of
great
horror.
roasted. They're great roasted.
I love them roasted.
And some other clever ideas. Check it out online at foodconfidence.com.
Foodconfidence.com. So the last one I want to talk about is for those days where you don't feel like a big fancy meal. You just want burgers and fries or something similar. Homemade fries. So just slice up a potato or slice a sweet potato. Just adds a little more flair to your fries. All you have to do is slice them and bake them. It's really, really simple. And you're then getting your fries without all the extra stuff that might be in processed fries, or if they were actually fried fries. So that is a good option as well.
One thing I was thinking about when you asked me to be on the show with you today, thank you, is how we show love to our family and friends that we have over to share holidays with. And food is one of the ways that we show love. And so
Certainly is.
I encourage people to gather around the table and share food with love. but also to think about different ways that you can show your love, like by making vegetables and fruit easy to find on your table and in your refrigerator. So always when entertaining, try to plan for and include some kind of vegetable relish tray.
Yep.
That's great. And if you have people coming over to stay with you, wash up and scrub up and slice up some carrots, some celery, some cauliflower pieces, some broccoli pieces, and don't shove them into your vegetable crisper. Put them
on the top shelf next to the milk.
Yeah, where people can see them, so that if they're like hunting through your kitchen and they're feeling kind of weird about, even though you've said help yourself to anything, they encourage and say,
You know, I see recently these really cute. Do you have Pinterest, Karen?
I don't do Pinterest, but I've seen some really cool things on this website called School Meals That Rock.
Yes.
And she shares these beautiful ideas. The most fun one I've seen lately is vegetables arranged on a platter to look like a turkey.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. On Pinterest, they have all these different things that you can make with vegetables. So if you think, vegetable tray, so boring, you can jazz it up a little, make it into something. So at Halloween, there are ones that look like skeletons. And now the turkeys. At Christmas, you can make snowmen or trees or all sorts of things that they have.
Just easy. Have your kids help you. Have the pieces ready. Give them something to do, and maybe they'll even snack on things while they're putting together a platter and say, how can we make this look like a Christmas tree with, broccoli pieces and little cherry tomatoes and all kinds of things you can think of that are green and red at Christmas time.
Yep. And so use those things that are easy, that are already there. Vegetables, basically you have to wash it and slice it. You don't have to cook it. So I think, take a little work out of it. We want to talk, we only have like a little bit of time left. This hour has flown by. So we want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we have going on. And by we, I mean we in Bismarck. Not just me at Extension or whatever. So we have some things going on. You wanted to talk, I know, about the Pride of Dakota show coming up.
That's right. A great way to support people who make things and grow things in North Dakota is by shopping at the Pride of Dakota Holiday Showcase. The one in Bismarck's going to be at the Civic Center again, or I guess they call it the Event Center now. Civic
Call
Center,
it what you
Event
want.
Center, December 5th through the 7th. So get ready to go and shop your little hearts out on local North Dakota made products.
I look forward to this every single year. Every year. And it's 3 days. We go at least 2 days. Because I like to go on Friday and scope things out, and then go back on either Saturday or Sunday when it's a little quieter and actually make purchases. The drawback is sometimes things are sold out by the time you get back, but it's really a fun event, I think. And you get to see all sorts of cool things that people are making. Like, I am not crafty at all. I could be maybe, but I just don't have time to be crafty. And so I really appreciate those folks who are crafty and have the time to do it and are willing to share those talents with the rest of us. And so the Pride of Dakota show is really something that I look forward to every year. So I'm glad that you wanted to talk about that. We have to take a break again, and then we'll be back for our last segment.
Right now, 18.
Get the app called Radio Pup for your iPhone and take us everywhere you go. Bismarck and Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
Good morning and welcome back to the Extension Connection. I'm Peggy Netzer here with Karen Ahrens, and this is our last few minutes of this morning's show. Went really quickly. Before we went on break, we were talking a little about the Pride of Dakota show that's coming up in a couple of weeks. And that got me thinking about gifts. So a lot of people use that for their Christmas shopping. You know, if you have family and friends out of state, it's kind of nice to send them a little piece of North Dakota. I know I do that pretty much every year. And since we've been talking about wellness, I have some ideas for people on gifts you can give that are to improve people's health or keep them healthy. So, first suggestion, these are all relatively inexpensive too. First suggestion, food thermometer.
Great idea. It's one way to make sure that you're cooking food to the right temperature to keep your family healthy.
Yes, and if anybody doesn't know what the proper temperature is, they can give me a call at the office, 221-6865, and we can go over that. Next suggestion, a pedometer.
Great. A little device that helps track how many steps you're taking in a day. Heading toward 10,000 is a goal that some people take on, but wherever you're at that first day, a pedometer can help you take more steps the next day.
Yeah. And the thing with the pedometer is you can get really inexpensive ones that are fairly accurate, or you can get a really fancy device like a Fitbit or something similar that tracks not just your steps, but your calories, your sleep, everything. So you can get as simple or as complicated as you want with a gift like that. How about if you gave somebody a gift card for tunes to use while they're walking with their pedometer?
Great idea.
Yeah. And also pretty inexpensive, you know. Another good one is a healthy meal or snack kit. So all the things they would need plus recipe for a healthy meal. Or you can do an IOU. So whenever it's convenient for you, I will bring you dinner.
Yep, that's a great idea. There's also this kind of falls in line with those. They're kind of making a comeback. Those kits of bean soup that you can assemble and you put all the ingredients in one place and give them as a gift.
Yep. I like that. We, you know, when our baby was born, so in the last few months, we've had a lot of people bringing us meals, and it has been so nice. I have really enjoyed that. And we're lucky because all of our friends thought about the health factor with it and have brought us really, really balanced, healthy meals. So it's a good one. Another one that you might not think of because it's about keeping you healthy and safe, but not necessarily about food. A storm survival kit.
Yeah, look outside today.
Yep.
Safely
slippery.
travel, everyone, if you're out there traveling on North Dakota's roads or pretty much anywhere in the polar vortex.
Yes. So things that you would want to put in there, food-related things, would be nuts, dried fruit, beef jerky, trail mix, those kinds of things that don't need to be kept at a certain temperature, and they give you, you know, relatively good nutrition there. For kids, what if you just gave them some jump ropes or some coloring pages that had fruits and vegetables on them to help them learn about things? So some really simple gift type things that you can think about for the holidays. And one more thing we want to talk about before we have to go. Our summary. Here's our summary, Karen. What do people need to know about staying healthy during the holidays? Basic thing, have a plan, right?
Right, have a plan. Shape your life, cooking healthy foods. And I'm not saying give up your traditional foods, but make sure that you have a plan for having the healthy foods, especially fruits and vegetables. Easy to find, easy to see, easy to eat.
Yep. And most of us have about 200 calorie leeway in our diets after we get all the nutrition we need for treats. So 200 calories, it might not sound like a lot, but you sometimes can get a lot of things for 200 calories. So if you're wanting to still participate in family gatherings, friend gatherings, work gatherings, whatever it might be, here's some tips to help you stay away from all the extra calories. First one, tame your appetite by having some soup before you go to the party. And by soup, I mean a brothy soup like chicken noodle or vegetable soup, not something that's heavier like Nafla or
taco.
Yeah, taco soup. Something that's mostly brothy and has some vegetables, so it fills up your stomach without adding a lot of extra calories. The next tip, stay at a distance from the serving table. So if you're standing right next to all the appetizers and desserts and you're looking at it while you're having your conversations, you're much more likely to just grab a bite here or there, as opposed to if you're standing on the other side of the room and you have to cross through everyone to go get a plate.
Right, especially then if you're serving people, serve them from small plates, because you can trick your brain into thinking you're getting more to eat than you actually are. Another trick is to have fruits and vegetables available if you're the hostess, and if you're the guest, to fill up your plate with those, because it takes a while to chew them, and you'll get full on fewer calories.
Yeah, and if you fill your plate up with fruits and vegetables, there's not as much room for all the other stuff, because you don't want to look like a pig and take 2 plates, right? The next tip is to watch your beverages. This time of year, a lot of the things that we think about drinking, like eggnog or, maybe a little alcoholic drink here or there, has a lot of calories, and those calories can add up really quickly. So think about what you're drinking. Stick to water or, lower calorie drinks like that. The next one, this goes back to having a plan. Decide how many treats are you going to have. So if you think about each cookie you take is approximately 100 calories, and you want to stick to that 200 calorie that we suggest, that's only 2 cookies. So if you're going to have more than 2 cookies, you might want to think about earlier in the day, take a walk, take a jog, go to the gym, do something. So your budget, I talked about the budget earlier, your budget for calories has a little more leeway in it. So you're not packing on the pounds because you had 4 cookies and you should have only had 2.
Right, and that's a great thing to think about all throughout this holiday season, is to bundle up good, have the kids go outside, go for walks. If you have a teenager, going for walks is a great way that you can have time together without having to sit down and look at each other across the table, which is sometimes hard, or even other relatives. So get up and go for a walk.
Yeah, walking and just being outside, even if it's too cold to walk outside, go to the mall or go somewhere else where you can walk. Walking is not just physical that you feel the benefits. You also get, a little mental benefit from it. Maybe you have had enough of your family or whoever you're spending time with this season. Maybe you've had enough and you just need a little break. Go take a 15-minute walk, clear your head, go back. You'll be a little more relaxed. Whatever was bothering you has had time to clear. Just reset yourself. So walking is a good tip. And the last one here, use a napkin instead of a plate. Small plates are good. Napkins are better. You can only fit so much on a napkin, and you can't load that thing up with dip. So that's our tip, Jim. You like that one?
Just one other thing I like to remind folks is to try to get enough sleep.
Yes.
Even though we have more to do, more people to see, not getting enough sleep has benefits. Getting enough sleep is risky to your health in the immediate and in the future. So it can set you up for health problems. So getting enough sleep is good for your mental health and your physical health. And
your attitude.
When it's dark outside for so long, it feels good.
Yes. And, when you don't have enough sleep, everything else feels harder. it's harder to eat healthy. It's harder to exercise. It's harder to be in a good mood when you're tired. I know this because I have a newborn. And it's not a lot of sleeping at our house. But there are other ways to sneak in a few minutes of sleep here and there during the day if you need to. So, yeah, try to get enough sleep. Get to bed when you can. Take turns sleeping and getting up with your kids. If you have kids that still get up, it works well. So, we hope that some of these tips have helped everybody think about staying healthy through the holiday season, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with some other guests.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.